I think for the last year, we've listened to the Prime Minister complain about the media and not being happy with the way the media was covering the issues of the government. So I don't think it was a surprise to many of us in the media.
Yeah. What is it going to mean, though, for working journalists, this kind of watchful eye?
For me personally, it's a bit concerning because I feel that he doesn't realize the restraints on the media itself and the industry. The fact that we are a struggling industry, very small, and doing this to us is not going to help. And taking control of the national broadcaster is not going to help the situation either. I think there are better ways of sorting this out.
Mm. What has it been like for you in terms of any, sort of censoring up until this point?
We've never had a problem with governments before. That's why I think a lot of people in the media are a little bit concerned about it, because we've always had a lot of freedom in the way we do our news coverage. I don't think this government actually restricts us. I think it's controlling it, their information more than they used to. We were always very free to speak to our ministers, to call them up, request interviews, also very free to get information when we wanted it. Now that's not the case. But I know that's normal with every government. You have a process. You can't just call up a minister and expect to get an interview. You have to go through, their press secretaries or a media department within a government. That's the normal practice. But for a small town like Honiara, that can actually hinder us, because we're also very small in terms of numbers in our newsrooms too. So that takes a lot of time and waiting, and then you end up with journalists getting a bit impatient.
Yes,
closer to deadlines.
I can understand. So what is your understanding of this process of vetting your work or approving your work?
Well, I don't know about how SIBC is going to do this. A lot of people have asked me that. How do you think this is going to play out? And I'm like, we're not sure, because we haven't seen it happen before. So we're going to have to watch what the government's going to do. Now, if the opposition gets on SIBC and starts criticizing government policy, which every opposition does, that's not unusual in a democratic society or in a democratic process. Now, would government disallow SIBC to air that story or that interview? That is the question that we are asking. However, I know officials in government are saying, no, we're not going to do that. SIBC is going to carry on doing what it's supposed to be doing. It'll have a board, it'll have a CEO, a management team, but we want it to be more responsible in the way it writes stories, because it's the national broadcaster. It's not a private company. It is a government-owned entity.
Have there been mistakes made in reporting that has drawn focus on the fact that they want tighter scrutiny?
I think so. I mean, I'm going to be very honest here. I'm not saying they're all bad, but I'm saying that, yes, there have been mistakes. I think in editorial policy, there have not been a lot of control in terms of the way they ensure there's balance. There's the right of reply, at least giving time for somebody else to say something in reply to any allegations, or getting clarification from the appropriate authorities. That's happened before here, definitely.
Yeah. So, we've spoken over your reporting and others reporting once that security pact was signed with China. Do you think this has also been why the government is more focused on the message that's getting across?
I think so. I think government's concerned that the negativity that's being expressed by a lot of Solomon Islanders is affecting how Solomon Islanders look at the way government is trying to roll out its policies, and also the fact that it feels that a lot of the information is not true and it's not balanced, it's not fair and not accurate. And that's why they're not happy with the way the media has been handling, especially the reporting on the China relationship with Solomon Islands.
Yeah. How do your colleagues and yourself feel about your jobs and whether you stay committed to doing the best you can in this environment in the hope that it will ease?
Yeah, I'm hoping that I, sort of go around with the title of being a senior journalist. So I also have a responsibility to ensure that our younger ones who are coming up in the industry are adhering to ethical standards. And if we lose that, that's when we are brought under such controls, or we criticized. And I know a lot of people in the public actually agree that the media has not been doing its job very well. But I also look at the other side of the picture and say, yeah, hang on, but have you actually helped the media improve? Have you invested in it? Have you put more money into SIBC? Have you raised the salaries so you can get very good editors? And who's doing the selection process? Who's interviewing the staff who are being employed in SIBC? So it's not really SIBC's fault. I think there's a whole lot of reasons why we are at this point with the SIBC issue, and also with just the media in general, I think.